Three NFL legends may have just played their final home game in the Superdome, and they all wear black and gold. Taysom Hill, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis. Their futures in New Orleans after 2025 might be in some doubt because of contracts, age, years in the league, but their impact on Sunday against the Jets was not in doubt at all. We're talking about three guys who aren't just Saints legends. Two are no doubt NFL Hall of Famers, while the other definitely should be. And in this game, they reminded everybody why. But as one era maybe starts to close, another one is already kind of opening. You got young guys like Tyler Shough and Chris Olave along with a new wave of Saints defenders, and they're trying to build their own legacy one big play at a time. Let's jump into Saints film room. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. Before we jump into the tape, got to talk a little bit about why this game just felt so different. You're talking Taysom Hill, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis. They're all scheduled to be free agents in 2026 because they all have voided contracts beginning that year. Taysom's 35. He's finishing up his ninth year in the league. Cam is 36, wrapping up his 15th season. And Demario, well, also 36. He's wrapping up year 14. Now, all three have great Hall of Fame resumes. Look, Taysom Hill, only the second player in NFL history with at least 1,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing, and 1,000 receiving. The only other guy to do that is a Hall of Famer by the name of Charlie Trippi, and he did it back in the 1940s and 50s. He's also one of just five people with 10 passing, 10 rushing, and 10 receiving touchdowns, and he's done it playing quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, special teams. Historic versatility with a lot of production at almost all, if not every one of those spots. Cam Jordan, and look, 130 career sacks, top 25 on the all-time list, and still, at least we know of, 2 games left. Who knows how many more keep climbing that list. He's a three-time All-Pro. He was on the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team. Look, that's a profile for a gold jacket edge rusher, I'm pretty sure. And Demario Davis, over 1,500 tackles in his career, 44 and a half sacks, 4 picks, 60 pass breakups, 5-time All-Pro selection. Look, that's not just production. That's dominance over a decade. And while I hope we can bring them all back for one more great year together, I just feel like we need to take a look at this Jets game almost like it's a tribute to the three, just in case it doesn't happen. Now, I know this play didn't count because of the penalty on Simpkins, who was playing left tackle, but a couple of things. This is an interesting play design, and we've done this a couple of times during the year where we go a tackle over. Basically, we bring in the extra lineman, but we take, in this case, Banks to left tackle and move him over, and he's next to Fuaga at right tackle. This is simulating a run look. They got 5 on the line of scrimmage. They've got 4 guys standing within 5 yards of that and a couple of safeties, one basically creeping up into the box anyway, free safety over the top. So we're showing run heavy. They're defending run heavy. And we're going to do a little play action. And when we fake that flip, there's 11 defenders basically looking in the backfield, looking at that potential pitch man that doesn't get the pitch. Most everybody's blocked up. There's 5 defenders that can get into coverage, and we're only going to send 4 with the running back as he comes out, but really only 3 initially. And right now, nobody's looking at Taysom Hill, who had lined up in the slot. So he is wheeling to the outside and is going to go up the sideline. Shough's already setting up to throw the ball there. With everybody peeking in the backfield, Taysom is getting passed off to the deep defender, who is staring back towards the middle of the field, and I don't think he has a clue that Taysom's about ready to run up behind him. And when he finally figures it out, it's too late. Shough's read this the whole way, gives him an easy pitch and catch. And at this point, Taysom running downhill with the ball. Good luck, buddy. So, shame that they had the holding call, but I think that was a really great example of how you can use Taysom, how versatile he's been throughout his whole career, and you can really put defenses in some very bad positions that they just can't recover from if they play it wrong. 2 minutes left to go. We're up big. Game's basically over. They're expecting us to run out the clock, so they've got a single high safety, but everybody on that field's playing the run, especially since we have Taysom taking a direct snap, thinking, and just going to run this thing out. Probably what we should have done. If I was on the other side, this play would tick me off too, like many of them were. I get it. However, I'm selfish. Taysom Hill, this may be the last play he ever makes in the dome. We don't know what the future really holds for him. But if it is, I like this memory that they created for me, if not anybody else. But I'm a big Taysom Hill fan. And getting a touchdown pass on his last play, if and that what it is, fantastic. They bid on every fake we had going. And if, I think for the most part, there was a lot of their defense had checked out at this point also. So they bite on the run. They're not covering anybody really. And Olave just sneaks right down the middle and another easy pitch and catch for a touchdown. This one, fortunately, nobody's holding and it counts. Maybe Taysom gets his signature, last signature moment in the Superdome. So Cam Jordan had himself a big day. Here's career sack number 129. What I love about this play is we're going to run a game on him and we're going to take two Hall of Famer defenders to do it with because you have Cam out of the wide nine. Demario is lined up in the center guard gap right now, looking like he's going to blitz. He's got Pete Werner, our other linebacker, next to him, but we know Brandon Staley likes to do some creative stuff and simulate blitzes and sometimes ultimately only send four, but which four are coming? But this time it's looking like a blitz because Demario is coming. So across the line, they're blocking one-on-one. Cam's taking it to the outside out of that wide nine. And Demario kind of set his blocker up like he was going to go inside. The guard stays with him, trying to go outside, but he's horribly out of position and really can't do anything to him. But Demario is not rushing the passer. What he's doing is he's going to go pick that offensive tackle because we have a game on. We're twisting right here, and that guard bites totally. So when Demario picks the tackle and pulls him off, the guard he's so out of position. I don't even think he can see Cam right now, who's going to loop right around him and crush Brady Cook. Great play design, great play call. And look, you give Cam Jordan a free run at a quarterback, that quarterback is in a whole lot of trouble. So let's go to sack number 130, where once again, Cam is really wide this time in that wide nine. He has a receiver and a tight end in between him and the right tackle. Brian Brzee is lined up in a three tech outside of the right tackle, excuse me, also. So there's two players sitting way out in the C gap. Meanwhile, we've overloaded the right side. Both our linebackers are on the line of scrimmage like they're coming, and Justin Reed is going to sneak up there too. And I don't think Quinn knows quite what he wants to do right here. So he's going to take the snap. It's simulated. Everybody's dropping out. Now he's looking downfield, trying to throw the ball. I think he was expecting a lot more to come than what came. Nothing does. We've got everything pretty much covered up behind us. But the thing is, that tight end didn't do anything to check Cam, nothing. Cam's getting the free run with no slowdown. That tackle's going to have a hard time getting out to get him. Meanwhile, Brzee has split once again the guard tackle, and he is driving hard towards Cook. Now, Cook had nowhere to go with the ball. Things are falling down. That's a long way to go for two big men like Cam and Brian to get over there to the middle of the field, but they get there. Brzee just can't quite corral him, but once again, the design and then the execution basically leaves Cam as a free runner. And once again, Brady Cook's in a lot of trouble. Now, by Demario standards, it wasn't exactly the gigantic stat game that he's been accustomed to over the years. And part of that is due, there was a whole bunch of other players running around there in the Saints defense making plays, but he did get his name in the books a couple of times. One with the great run stuff. That's what we're going to show you here. The other was a great pass breakup, which I'll show you in a minute. But both plays show you what Demario Davis, his whole career, especially with the Saints, once he got here, has been a high-level run defender and a high-level coverage linebacker. So right here, what you really get to see is one of the things that Demario Davis has excelled at over the years. It's almost like he can mind read the offense and he knows what's coming really before there's much information to give him. So Brees Hall is going to go in motion from left to right. And as soon as he does, Demario's yelling at Werner. He's pointing and he's looking at that A gap in between the center and the right guard. At the snap of the ball, that's where they're running. He's already headed that way, but nobody has enough time to get to Demario. The tight end is pulling across the formation. He's not even looking that way because his job is to go kick out the edge defender all the way on the outside, which is Grando. So now you got Demario free run in. He read the play the whole time. He knew where he was going. No ability for anybody to. It's almost like they didn't even notice him. He was in there so fast. Here's the thing. Brees Hall, and I kind of feel sorry for the young man. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL that's stuck on one of the worst teams since he's been drafted. All day long, we were getting defenders in the backfield on him. We only had two run stuffs, and this is one of them. But at this point, he's one-on-one with Demario, who looks like he's about ready to eat him, and basically does. And even then, Hall almost does a good job of slipping a Demario Davis tackle, but not many people can do it. You might get him every now and again, but most of the time in that position, it's a run stuff. -2 yards, big play to stall their drive, and eventually we hold them to a field goal. So here's Demario in coverage. Ball's being snapped right now. Brees Hall had flashed out of the backfield and then motioned back in, kind of caused the linebackers to shift over. So now you're seeing Werner over center, Demario on the defensive left, which means he's definitely going to be in coverage because we're only sending forward, dropping coverage. There's really nothing going on downfield for Cook. He wants to take the check down right there to Mechie, right in front of Demario Davis. I don't know if that's the greatest idea in the world. Now, it's a good throw, and he's kind of leading Mechie back out to the outside. So if he catches it, maybe a chance to turn upfield. But that's Demario Davis. That chance just never materializes. And what Demario does really well is as the ball is coming in, that left hand is going to get on the defender while the right hand is reaching around to knock the ball down. So it may have been a little early, but you're going to get away with that in the NFL as long as, quote unquote, you don't affect the receiver. So, just got to have the light touch on him, I guess, so he doesn't spin or trip or fall or anything else. That's when you get the flag. But just kind of able to get a hand on him and get the free hand around and knock the ball down for an incompletion. So, I mean, that's two plays. Like I said, Demario didn't have the normal big stat day, but that is two quintessential plays from one of the, in my opinion, one of the best linebackers ever to play the game. Is he can stuff the run, he can stop the pass and coverage, forced turnovers in his career, had sacks, and really it seemed like he had that sixth sense of knowing what the offense was going to do. I think sometimes even before the quarterback knew what the offense was going to do. I appreciate the type of player he was, and I think both these plays show what type of player he was for basically a decade and a half. Now, if that was potentially the end of an era, well, this next segment of film review is I feel like a start of a new one because look, while those legends were balling out, you could also see the future of the franchise starting to flash because we had quite a few young players make great plays of their own. And right here, they decided to dial up a man look, and it's obviously man single high. They're matched up everywhere. We dial up a great play. What's going to happen here? We're about ready to send Juwan Johnson in an orbital motion. He's in the slot around Chris Olave, who's next to him in the slot. What that's going to do is create a pick play, a rub play, whatever you want to call it, where we basically take those two receivers, throw chaos into three Jets defenders, and break Olave wide open for a touchdown. So Johnson in the motion, comes back in. There's the rub. Pretty much nobody is picking up Olave or realizing until it's way too late that he is now wide open for a touchdown. Great play design, great execution. Everybody on the same page. And this is the type of thing you really want to see: young quarterback, young receiver, youngish tight end, getting plays dialed up like this and converting them into points. So this is the type of stuff I like to see: young quarterback using some of his veteran tight end receiver combination right here, recognizing something pre-snap. Basically, he's calling an audible. He's sending something out to the right side where Kevin Austin Jr. is wide. Juwan Johnson's in the slot. Resets. Audric Estime takes the snap, and what's going on at the top of your screen? Austin Jr. is clearing out. Juwan Johnson on a double move, out and up, breaks the linebacker coverage. The linebacker actually stopped, thinking he was passing it off to a defender who wasn't there because that defender had jumped Kevin Austin Jr. Wide open, make the connection to Johnson, who gets really athletic at the end of the play, hurdling a would-be tackler, picking up a couple extra yards. This here is something I like to see from young quarterbacks where you have pre-snap reads, then you have post-snap reads, but basically young quarterbacks, especially one with live arms, can get themselves into situations where they're going to try to force balls, put themselves in bad positions, put the ball at risk. When sometimes the best thing to do is just take the check down. So Shough takes the snap, only sending 4. Estime isn't needed in protection, so he's leaking out. And they're dropping back into coverage. For the most part, they have everything covered up. Now, couple spots there where he could try to fit some balls, or he could take the longer kind of check down with the tight end sitting on the 35-yard line. But he just takes the easy check down, swings it out to Estime, and trusting his running back is going to catch this ball and go make a play, pick up some yards after catch. Second part of why I like this play is our running back made the catch, went downfield, and picked up some yards after catch. Estime can just be a cannonball and hard to tackle downfield, breaks one tackle, breaks another, and then lowers the shoulder and is going to pick up an extra yard or two and make sure he picks up the 10, 12 total is what it turned out to be, but picks up the first down. Got to give credit. If you're a young defender and they're going to give you exactly one defensive snap to turn some heads and make something happen, well, Isaiah Stallbert turned some heads, made something happen in his one and only opportunity. I don't even know if this is wide 9. He's so wide, he's almost off your screen. Coming from the outside, I mean, basically, I think he started this blitz somewhere near Canal Street. But at snap of the ball, they sent some motion, and I think that helped out a little bit because 2 wide edge rushers coming with that motion of the tight end in front, I think that just kind of, in a weird way, just kind of disrupted the offense and created a little bit who's going to pick up who. And on top of that, I'm not even sure anybody dressed in green and white right now thought that Stallbert was actually coming until he came. And the way that play developed, it just opened up to the point where I think they thought they were only sending 4. They had to have been looking at 44 standing out there going, well, only one of those wide guys is coming. The other one's dropping in coverage. Nobody apparently worried about him. And you're giving a young, fast, athletic edge rusher a free run into the quarterback, and with some strength too, because Cook almost ducked that tackle, but Stallbert got a hand on him and yanked him down as he was blowing by him at about 100 miles an hour. I've been excited about the potential of Stallbert. I know he's still got a lot of development to go, but when we can get him in these situations where we can unleash him, I really think he can be a force to be reckoned with that pass rush. Now, this is going to be our 4th sack of the day. I already covered the first 2 by Cam, the one Stallbert. Taylor's going to jump in on the mix. And in Taylor's case, he has been making plays the last few weeks. And I think it very well coincides with the defense, especially in the pass defense area, getting continually better, holding teams to less points, creating more big plays and some turnovers. The ball there late to pick up that we're sending 4, but simulated blitz. we've got a lineman dropping out of there, and Taylor was coming out of the slot. Tight end has just no chance to do anything with him. And at this position, he's looking around to throw the ball downfield against 7 defenders, basically. Nothing has really opened up. It looks like he wanted to take a shot down deep to the right. Nothing there. He's looking back to his left just in time to see a big hit coming his way. Way too long to hold on to that ball. And Taylor, taking advantage of it, beats the tight end that's trying to deal with him, gets to the quarterback, gets the sack. We're going to end on our rookie safety, Jonas Sanker, who has been, since he had to show up in week 2 after the Julian Blackmon injury, has just kept progressing more and more. We have done everything on this play, but send them a telegram saying, we're single high safety, we're manning up. Now, the thing you can't see, though, that I think is an interesting, confusing look, on the left side of the formation as you're looking at it right now, the defensive right, all 3 of our cornerbacks are over there. Sanker's over the top playing free safety. Justin Reed is to the right of your screen, kind of sitting in the box. It's really weird to see 3 corners all on one side of the field, but I think that clearly indicates to everybody, hey, we're manning up. And we're sending a little bit of pressure with Grando dropping off, but you are sending 5 right here. And Sanker's kind of playing free safety back there in the literal sense. He is not picking anybody up, and he is looking at Mechie, who's coming out of the slot and about ready to cross the field. And actually, Cook does kind of a good job looking that way, almost like he's looking off and then wanting to come back to Mechie breaking over, which should be space in the middle of the field, except Sanker's been reading it the whole time and jumps the route. Makes a great pick and gets a really good return that he was coming one-on-one with Cook. You're just one broken tackle or one quick move away from housing this thing, which would have been a tremendous exclamation point on a great play on a defense who was really, really outstanding for 4 quarters. So when you put this game together, to me, it felt like at times a passing of the torch. On one side, you've got Taysom, you've got Cam, you've got Demario. Look, in my opinion, all 3 legit Hall of Famers who might have just played their final game in the Dome, and they're still making impacts like they did 5-10 years ago. On the other side, you've got Shough, Olave, Jonas Sanker, Taylor, a lot of young guys on both sides of the ball. They're now trying to write their own chapters in Saints history. So, Who Dat Nation, I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 3, Taysom, Cam, Demario, is the biggest Hall of Famer in your eyes? I'm going to have to go with Demario. That's why throughout the review, I saved the best for last. That's what I was doing there. But strong arguments for the other 2. And among the young guys we broke down, or even some of the ones we didn't have time to get to, who do you think has the best chance to become the next Saints legend? I got to feel like right now it's probably Shough or Olave, but I think the bright side of the Saints organization is more and more names are going to start jumping into that conversation for the first time in a long time. So if you enjoyed the film room, want to make more breakdowns like this every week, hit the subscribe, hit the like, turn on the notification so you don't miss the next one. And the next one will be a Christmas Day special. So be on the lookout for that one Christmas afternoon. Until then, I'm Tim. Have a safe and happy holiday. Peace out and Who Dat.